it's approaching. The supreme moment. Reality striking closer than it seems, don't it? Go ahead, it's for the taking if you want it. If not, the dream dies and you'll be forever haunted. Then confront it.
What's good? I know this is a couple weeks in advance, but I thought I'd go ahead and talk about it since it does officially start around June 1st. That's at least when it started last year. So I'm referring to the Tanabata Dokkan campaign that occurred in 2018, and as the title suggests, last year we did have 7 free SSRs out of selection of 77 units from the wish strips, where you could attain those through various ways with logins and the Purunga missions and whatnot. So I thought it'd be a good occasion to kind of look through what it was last year and then kind of see what to expect this year. At least, kind of have a little bit of a better forecast on what potentially could happen in the month of July. Now, I know the legendary banner for the LR Full Power Frieza is just coming out pretty soon here shortly, but it's always good to think about stuff coming up a couple weeks in advance. Gives you a better idea to plan ahead a little bit. So looking through the schedule, the login bonuses, they're various stuff. I mean, the wish strips right there were definitely part of that. Within the missions, I think, combining all 3 parts within the entire campaign, it was about 77 Dragon Stones that you were able to get out of the entire month of July, I think it was. So, decent amount of stones with that. And then, of course, there was a Dokkan Fest banner that came out on the 1st of July, which is the Full Power Super Saiyan 4 Goku unit. And looking back on the banner, based on the featured list, of course, it had the brand new one. It had the Strength GT Goku unit, the GT Cell and Frieza units, along with Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, Mega Shenron, and Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. So it was a decent banner, but it's one of those where the amount of featured units aren't too bad. So I guess we'll probably expect something similar. It'll definitely be a pretty exciting banner, I think, in the first part of July. I would expect that because Tanabata Festival appears a pretty big deal over in Japan, so I expect some sort of similar celebration, and starting that off with pretty much a new Dokkan banner. I would imagine so. And then later on, as you can see right there was another Dokkan Fest banner that came out shortly. I mean, one came out on the 1st of July, and the other came out literally a week later, which is the Tanabata Dokkan Festival. And looking at that one, it's quite a few lists within the featured list. What's funny about this one is the fact that Super Saiyan 4 Goku was also on this banner. Basically, the problem was, and it was kind of a small little footnote of fine print in the banner where not many people noticed it, but they actually dropped the rates for the Full Power Super Saiyan 4 Goku on this banner versus his own Dokkan Fest banner. But from a standpoint of getting the most bang for your buck, it's hard to say because obviously at this time a lot of people wanted the LR Gogeta and LR Vegeta, which are featured on here. And I think this is the first time they came back on a banner since the initial release on the month of January during the 3-year anniversary. So definitely was enticing when it happened, but like I said, looking through it, you've got at least 3, 6, 9, 18. So you've got like 20 featured units on here. So there was a lot of units outside of LR Gogeta and Vegeta and Super Saiyan 4 Goku. You had Vegeta, Kaioken Goku, Majin Vegeta, Super Saiyan 2 Angel Goku, the Zamasu unit, Kid Buu, the Intelligence Super Gogeta unit, Strength Janemba, and also the Physical Type Super Vegeta. So there was quite a few units on this list, on the banner. So it was a little bit of, I don't know, it's difficult decisions, I guess, dilemmas in a way. So of course, after that you have the story events, but the other important one was the Purunga campaign. So you were able to collect the Dragon Balls to summon Purunga to get a couple of pretty good wishes. So I'll cover that here in a second. But on top of that, you did have, again, the list of 77 units you could exchange up to 7 times. And the good thing about it was you could select the same unit multiple times. If you wanted to just hone in on one unit and rainbow that particular card, you were able to do that. So all this other stuff is not as important. I think with the Dokkan Battlefield, I think around this time, LR Metacooler Army was introduced, I think. And then the other thing was EZA for Ultimate Gohan. And then additional stages were added on Super Battle Road. So I know there was a couple of discussions about speculation on, additional stages coming up for Super Battle Road. I remember seeing that on Twitter maybe about 2 weeks ago. From a timing standpoint, I think it'll probably be around this time. So my guess is during the month of July is probably when we'll see a couple of new Super Battle Road stages added onto it, and we'll probably get, of course, another reward card out of being able to beat all the stages. But I expect it to happen probably sometime in July during this Tanabata festival or campaign, so to speak. Besides that, I mean, there were a couple of things here and there, but not really highlight worthy, I guess. The Extreme Z Awakening for Ultimate Gohan is pretty nice. They actually made him quite nice with the EZA. So if we scroll back, let's go to the list of 77 units. So right here, I know it was up here somewhere. So this is the section where you were able to use the up to 7 wish strips to exchange up to 7 times for a unit. And the thing, I really hope they do bring this back because it was actually pretty nice. The only thing I would prefer is they updated the roster a little bit. Switch things up, make it a little bit better. Kind of eliminate some of the obsolete units that nobody really wants. Of course, you're going to have to include some of that. So, I mean, just keep it to the bare minimum is what I would say. But, a lot of units, depending on the types and attributes, the selection process is a pretty decent amount. I mean, 77 free, 77 selection and 7 free SSRs. I mean, at the end of the day, you can't really complain about that. Regardless of how bad it could possibly be, you're still getting 7 SSRs out of it. So, it's to me, it's a pretty good deal. So of course, like the list of units, you're gonna have to hone in and figure out which one's the best. But based on last year, this is what it was. If they do bring it back, they'll definitely improve it, hopefully by a lot. So that was at least one good thing that came out of the festival banner. And then if we go to the Porunga section, we also did have the 3-day weekend missions, and that was I think for this one it was 15 total Dragon Stones out of that. So add on that 77, you actually do get a pretty decent amount of stones during this period. So this is the Porunga Dragon Ball campaign that happened last year, and it was basically during the month of July. As you can see, July 1st all the way to the 31st. And one of the wishes, unfortunately, you did have to get in order to get the wish strip. But looking at this right here, here are all the pretty much wishes you can get. So, of course, if you summon Porunga, you do get 3 wishes. And the first one was the, 2 of the wish strips. The second one being 3 each of, 3 Elder Kais of each type, and then a bunch of potential orbs, Hercule statues, bunch of awakening medals, training items, and also support items. So I think if I remember correctly, what I did was obviously the wish strips, probably potential orbs, and I think Grand Kais. That's pretty much what I selected. So I think for this one it was only a one-time. I almost feel like what was the one time where you could actually summon Porunga 3 times? I think it was 2 or 3 year anniversary. I can't remember, but in this case, I'm pretty sure it was just one time during the month. But either way, it was definitely very nice to be able to do that. So, kind of looking through all this stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be a pretty exciting period. Honestly, the last week of, the last half of June is probably going to be pretty dry on the JP side. I would imagine, leading up to the Tanabata festival period. But we'll see how that goes. Again, the missions and stuff, you're looking at quite a bit of stuff. You do get the wish strips on here as well. A bunch of, awakening medals, training items, stuff like that. And I think when I read it earlier, it was about 77 total Dragon Stones that you do get out of that. I mean, you get a pretty decent amount of stuff. And the stuff in pink is the first part. And then the purple section is the, actually, 2 of the pink and then 1 of the purple is the first part. and then the other 3 are pretty much the last half of it. So, there's definitely a lot going on throughout the month, but we'll see how it goes this time around. Hopefully they step it up, increase the stakes a little bit, provide us with a lot more stuff, but we'll see what happens. I think honestly we should expect a new stages in Super Battle Road as well on top of that. So hopefully that is going to be a pretty exciting period. I know we got to get through the first, we still got close to half a month left of June, but after that, things should heat up quite a bit. So hopefully we got a lot of activity coming up, and hopefully found it helpful. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.